British to grant Indians greater rights, and an extremist faction, which resorted to street protest and the burning of British cloth to demand political and economic independence for India. Whereas the Congress professed to represent all Indians, regardless of caste or creed, the Muslim League was established in 1906 specifically to protect the interests of the subcontinent's largest religious minority. There were also some revolutionary groups, small but very active, who sought through bombings and assassinations to scare the British out of India. These political groups and tendencies were resolutely urban as well as middle class. They had no roots in the villages. After his return to India in 1915, Gandhi took this city-based and elite-dominated opposition to British rule and made it into a mass movement, reaching deep into the countryside, bringing in millions of peasants, workers, artisans, and women. The techniques Gandhi used, the travels he undertook, and the friendships he forged to accomplish this transformation form a major part of the narrative. This biography of India's most famous patriot is inevitably also a history of the most important political party of the time, the Indian National Congress, and of the freedom movement itself. To deliver India from British rule was by no means Gandhi's only preoccupation. The forging of harmonious relations between India's often disputatious religious communities was a second. The desire to end the pernicious practice of untouchability in his own Hindu faith was a third, and the impulse to develop economic self-reliance for India and moral self-reliance for Indians was a fourth. These campaigns were conducted by Gandhi in parallel. All were to him of equal importance. In 1933, he wrote to a close friend that, "My life is one indivisible whole. I can't devote myself entirely to untouchability and, say, neglect Hindu-Muslim unity or Swaraj. All these things run into one another and are interdependent. You will find at one time in my life an emphasis on one thing, at another time on another. But that is just like a pianist, now emphasizing one note and now another. But they are all related to one another." For Gandhi, political independence meant nothing at all unless it was accompanied by religious harmony, caste and gender equality, and the development of self-respect in every Indian. Other patriots had used the Hindi word Swaraj to signify national independence. Gandhi made Indians aware of its true or original meaning, Swaraj, or self-rule. 2. Gandhi's life in India was, among other things, a series of often intense and long-running arguments. In each of his four callings, Gandhi adopted innovative methods, which to some appeared daringly revolutionary, to others timid and reformist. A friend from his London days, who had followed his subsequent career closely, remarked in 1934 that Gandhi is a problem. To rulers and governors he is a thorn in their side. To logicians he is a fool. To economists he is a hopeless ignoramus. To materialists he is a dreamer. To communists he is a drag on the wheel. To constitutionalists he represents rank revolution. To this last we might add, to Muslim leaders he was a communal Hindu. To Hindu extremists he was a notorious appeaser of Muslims. To the untouchables he appeared a defender of high caste orthodoxy. To the Brahmin he was a reformer in too much of a hurry. This book tracks Gandhi's arguments in the fields of politics, social reform, religious relations, and self-improvement. These arguments were sometimes private, conducted through letters written and received, but more often public, conducted in widely circulated newspapers and books and pamphlets. Gandhi's critics were often considerable figures, who possessed a commitment that sometimes equaled his own, and an intelligence that sometimes surpassed his. I have sought to reconstruct these arguments as they unfolded at the time, regardless of how they have subsequently been interpreted, projected, or, as is sadly often the case, distorted. Gandhi actively engaged with every important aspect of social and public life in India: the impact of colonialism, the caste system, religious conflict, the emancipation of women, the role of the state in social life, the role of technology in economic reconstruction, the role of language in social and national renewal. These engagements were important to Gandhi and for the history of his country. Through what he said and did, and whom he battled with or argued against.